Hey everyone, welcome back to Main Design. I'm MengChi. Last week we played with duotone effects on background imagery and professional headshots. This week we are pushing a bit further to create this experimental duotone exposure portrait. We will break down this complex looking result into simple, clear steps. So by the end of this video, you will be able to create a futuristic and cinematic portrait of your own. So grab that starter file and let's build this together. This layout design is borrowed from here. Alright, here is what we'll be making: duotone exposure portraits. First, we'll need two portraits to blend. But before you just drag in any photos, here's a quick tip. Your final result really depends on your image choice. Here are what I've learned from picking the right imagery. First, select imagery with clean background so it's easier to remove it later. Second, choose portraits that face to the side, so they overlap more naturally when we blend later. Third, make sure subject only touch one border, and no more than two, so you've got more flexibility to place it around. Lastly, for a dramatic effect, try using the same person for both shots. See that version on the right? It feels more dramatic because our brain recognizes it as the same face. It almost feels like the person is split into two worlds. That subtle illusion is what makes this effect so interesting. Now let's arrange our composition. First, remove the backgrounds for both images. You can use Figma's built-in Remove Background tool. Then reduce the fill opacity to around 50%. This lets you see through the design when arranging, like a sneak peek of the final blend. This stage is all about visual experimentation. Try overlapping them in different angles or scales. Flip one if you need to. The goal is to keep the subject's eye clear and the face framed nicely. You don't want the overlapping area to overpower the image. Alright, we got our base composition and we are halfway there to something cinematic. Now that layout feels right, let's convert both portraits to grayscale so we can control the color channels more precisely later. Open up the Filter and Effect plugin and add a grayscale filter to both images. This plugin is pretty powerful and I covered it more in the previous video, so make sure to check that out if you wanted to exploit it further. Next, export one of the image. You will see why in a second. Now here's the fun part. We are jumping into Photopea, the free Photoshop alternative built right into Figma. Open your first image inside Photopea. Then place the exported image on top. Now for the magic trick. On the top there, right-click, select blending option and deselect G and B channel. On the bottom there, deselect the R channel. You will instantly see both images shift colors. That's how the duotone blend happens. At this point, you could stop here, but let's take it a step further and fine-tune the color for a more polished look. To bring back contrast, add an adjustment layer and choose Selective Color. On the red channel, tweak the slider to find your preferred tone. Then do the same thing on the cyan channel. Adjust the slider to boost contrast. You will notice how these shifts make the portrait feel balanced and crisp. Once it looks good, export the final image and bring it back into your design. And there it is, your own duotone exposure portrait. What I love about this technique is how it instantly adds personality to an ordinary photo. I think this is a great little trick to keep it inside your tool belt whenever you need that futuristic edge in a client project. If this video helped push your design style a bit further, give it a like or share it with a designer friend who would love to try. Don't forget to subscribe. More visual effects and Figma tricks are coming your way. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next one.